what do you all think of the new Twitter rebrand, X? Apparently it was banned in Indonesia because of their porn laws. That shit is so
Really?
fucking hilarious.
It's great. I love it. It's wonderful. Elon Musk is so great.
It's
He's
brilliant.
doing great.
He's smart.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. I saw somebody's. They had a bunch of tabs open. I think I saw this on Reddit. I can't credit the person who did this, but it's like, hey, all of these are porn sites except for one of them, and it was Twitter, because there was like X Hamster, X Videos, X Tube. So it's like it feels very porny, and I don't think that Elon Musk realized that, or maybe he did and just didn't care.
He doesn't
either
care.
way,
He's just a moron. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's so like, I do think that the rebrand is like the least of Twitter's problems. Like, that's a lot worse issues.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help. It's pretty damn stupid, and it's just completely pointless. And like, it sounds like there's potentially could be lawsuits on the horizon because he doesn't really own, like, doesn't Microsoft own X? I don't know. There's a whole backstory.
Yeah.
This whole thing that I don't really care enough to really read about it, but it's apparently
both Microsoft and Facebook have better claim to X as a copyright in the digital sphere because of Mixer for Microsoft, and I can't remember the reason for Facebook, but it's one of those situations where, like, I don't know if you saw this. Apparently, he lost anywhere between like $4 to like $15 or $20 billion in just name recognition by throwing away Twitter tweets. Like, you don't think about it when you see those symbols. Like, the home symbol was like a little like birdhouse, and the quill on the, like, like, people would kill for that kind of brand recognition, and he just torched it all.
But did you see his response to that? It was hilarious. He says, actually, X will be the most profitable brand in the world. I'm paraphrasing, but his last part of that was "make my words." So, like, he actually he got a typo. Instead of saying "mark my words," he said "make my words." And like, it wouldn't be funny in any other circumstance, but because Elon Musk did it while he was trying to be arrogant, it just makes it so much more amusing to me. Like, what a clown! What a fucking clown! But yeah, I also saw that he's going to take away the light mode. So it's dark mode for everyone, which is very fucked up because for me, like, I have astigmatism, and the white text on the black background is more difficult for me to read because, like, kind of makes it shiny. So yeah, that's fun. So another reason to not use Twitter. It's part of the reason why I don't really like using Threads as much, because I want the white background. I like light mode. So whatever. It's just like little things here and there adding to it to make it shittier.
I also like, I'm one of the few, you and I, most people like dark mode, and I get mercilessly, there we go, mercilessly mocked for not using dark mode. But I mean, I don't like how it looks with dark mode. It's something about it bothers my eyes, actually.
Yeah,
I prefer.
Same.
See, I prefer dark mode because if it's like, usually if I'm looking, at night or something, it doesn't like shock my eyes to see a bunch of like a bright white screen. So I tend to keep it dark just to, for those moments.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's just one of those different strokes for different folks scenarios. So why take away the option? It's just he wants to make it shittier for whatever reason. Like, I genuinely don't know if he's trying to destroy Twitter. I know he's stupid. I'm not trying to say that he is not stupid, because absolutely that's true. But like, is he trying to destroy Twitter as well? Because he's made dumb decisions, but does he want to make it worse? I don't know.
I think
apparently
this allows him. This allows him to, if Twitter, or I should say, probably when Twitter like just collapses, he can say, "Oh, X was a mistake, or I made mistakes with X," or whatever. Like, he there's a way where he can not take claim to saying that he destroyed Twitter. He could just pass it off as like, "Oh, it was the X project." No, you killed Twitter. you paid for this thing for billions and billions of dollars and sunk it into the ground. But he can just call it X now, and it was never Twitter.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that's it. I think because he values the X brand more than he values Twitter. This is his baby. X is his dream. He's been
trying to do it since the
20
PayPal
plus
days.
years in the making. Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, he
and they
literally
shut him
went
down
back
for good reason.
He literally went back to PayPal back in 2017 and asked if he could get the domain back and purchased it back from them, because that was the name of his company when it combined with PayPal back in the day during like the .com bubble. And he tried to get PayPal when he was CEO. He tried to get PayPal to change its name to X, And Peter Thiel and the rest of the board was like, what the fuck's this guy doing? And they booted him from the... Because by this time, eBay sellers were already saying like, "Oh, let me PayPal you," and like that's like once your brand name becomes like a dictionary word, and people use it in everyday language in like global like lexicon, it's like you've hit the highest level of like
brand recognition,
brand recognition, right? So you don't get rid of that, just like Twitter with tweets. People,
no one would ever do that.
Right. So the fact that like he's willing to get rid of all that for X clearly shows that X is his baby.
Did you see that he wants it to become like half of all global commerce? That's like his long-term vision. And like at this point, I don't know anyone who would trust him with like a credit card, let alone their banking info, and like sign up. But like this whole thing is a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I would not listen. I would not trust that company with my private information, my banking information, hands down. You want to say you stay on the platform, you do this to that on the platform, fine. But I would not trust my money deposited with that company. I mean, first of all, we've already seen how much they value privacy over there, being that Elon Musk literally leaked internal private emails from the company, and not just like emails of the employees, which to me is suspect to begin with and not good, but also on the other end of those emails are people who were interacting with Twitter employees who are not employed by the company. So he also leaked their private communications too. And then on top of that, just yesterday, a major right-wing influencer on Twitter, like Dom Lucre or something like that, he goes by.
There's content warning for this story.
Warning.
Trigger warning. Content warning.
Sexual abuse material. Excuse me, now I'm choking. Just when I gave the warning.
It's a good time to bring we can bring our guest in now as you're choking. So here. All right. Dan is here.
Hey, Dan, good to see you.
Dan.
I was trying to find a time to bring him in. There we go.
Thank you for choking, Matt.
Hey, Dan. Yeah. Oh my God, I don't know what happened.
It's just like basketball. The choke is the opportunity to get right in there. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I'm not going to get into explicit detail, obviously, but it's certainly something to be aware of. So there's this right-wing influencer named Dom Lucre, and he constantly posts. He's like a QAnon adjacent right-winger, constantly posting conspiracy theories on the platform. Every other tweet
cabinets, queer people are groomers style stuff.
Oh, he's responsible for that. Okay.
He's also one of these like black Twitter people, which like I see in a whole different lens, but like we can get into that later.
Right. And so, he apparently a couple days ago, well, not apparently, because I've since confirmed exactly what he posted. A couple days ago, he went on one of his, long stories to try to, because he's not actually posting any revealing information. He makes conspiratorial remarks about various politicians he doesn't like, and then sometimes he'll put in stories about people who've been arrested for having this child sexual abuse material, or arrested for other sort of things like that. And he posted a still image from a video depicting the sexual abuse of an 18-month-old girl. And this video is from a very well-known case of an Australian guy who was living in the Philippines and was basically producing this sort of horrific pedophilia content for people on the dark web who would pay him thousands of dollars. The material in this video specifically is apparently so horrific that the Philippines wanted to bring back the death penalty in their country specifically for this guy. He's now spending something like 120 some odd years behind bars. So this guy decided to post a still image of this from this video. He did blur out certain parts with like a big white box, like censor it. But he also made sure to add a watermark of his Twitter handle on the photo, so everyone knew it was his content.
Oh, disgusting. Imagine branding something like that, thinking like this is going to be good to like, promote the fucking Instagram or whatever. Like that's so twisted.
Right. This, I'm not going to get into any more information about this content. You get the gist.
Matt, what was the context of him posting that? Was it like, hey, look at this disgusting exploitation, or was he condemning it? Like what?
It was a whole story. This guy is constantly posting stuff saying he's like outing and exposing people. But in this specific case, though, the guy is already behind bars. His accomplices, he had two grown women who were helping him create this stuff. When he was, I think this was like in 2012 when this was going on. They're also behind bars. Like this is not this case is done. Like, there's no reason to post this content. These videos are highly sought after in those gross networks. In fact, this video was found on Josh Duggar's computer when he was arrested for. Yeah. So yes. So there was no need to go into this, but he posted the whole story of this guy and posted the still image. Days later, he was suspended. This was on. What's today? Thursday. So on Wednesday morning, he was suspended. No one knew why he was suspended. All of these big right-wing influencers, from Cat Turd to Carrie Lake to the Hodge twins, all of these folks were rallying for him to get unsuspended. And then out of the blue, one of the Krasensteins post how he doesn't know why Dom Lucre was suspended, but he went on this rant about how we should get more transparency as to why people are suspended. And I agree with that. But, Musk then went into the Krasenstein brothers' mentions and decided to share exactly why Dom Lucre was suspended. I mean, this was odd to me because this is one of Musk's guys. To him to openly talk about this and then add this extra thing at the end, which I'll get to, which is obviously the most horrific part of this. But this is one of the guys who were in like the chosen few who got paid already by the Twitter creator program, this guy who was suspended. And so Musk goes and says the reason for suspension should be shown, along with the ability to appeal quickly and easily. And then he gets into why Twitter's code is so hard, terrible, and all that, blah, 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 blah. But then he says, I'm told that this account was suspended for posting child exploitation pictures associated with the criminal conviction of an Australian man in the Philippines. And then he posted a CNN link to, the case, which is fine to give it context. But then he follows it up with another tweet. Only people on our CSE, which is child, I'm guessing sexual exploitation team, has seen those pictures, which I'll get to in a second because that's not true. For now, we will delete those posts and reinstate the account. So after saying this guy posted child exploitation pictures, he also said, we're going to bring him back. And so the guy was back on Twitter, or X as it's now called. He's trying to really change the narrative of what happened, even though Musk's replies are all there for the public to see. And this guy's followers are really buying into it. He's claiming that this was just an excuse, and the real reason he was suspended was because he got like too close to the truth in his tweets about President Barack Obama. Yeah. I mean, the original tweet that since was deleted by Twitter. It was not barely seen by anybody and only seen by the Twitter team that takes care of this. It had, before it was deleted, it had 3.1 million views. It had thousands of bookmarks, meaning some sickos out there were bookmarking these images. Wow. I mean, it's It's bad stuff. And I mean, listen, this material exists on the internet. And on platforms as big as Twitter, X, whatever, obviously some of this stuff gets lost in all the noise. Twitter did actually have a team that found it on their own, or it was reported to them. And, you know, it took a little too long, if you ask me, the amount of days. I think it was like 4 days. But they still took it down. Obviously, that should get better. They should not be happy about how long it took. But, you know, that's you know, they must basically fired the whole team that dealt with this stuff. But the real problem here is that Musk was so quickly to intervene and bring him back. Like those other, like the other issues other platforms deal with. You'll see all the other platforms have content like this that needs to be taken off immediately, and they screw up and it's up there for too long and it gets taken down eventually. They all need to work on that. That's not unique to Twitter. But Musk personally intervening to bring him back was very bizarre. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Just very bizarre.
After posting child porn.
Yeah, that makes him.
I mean,
complicit.
immediately too. Like, let's take the context for a second. That this guy really didn't see anything wrong with posting he went out of his way to edit it, which first of all means he didn't have the edited version. He literally has the original copy of this material. I don't know if he got the edited version or a copy of the material based on his tweet, because he had a follow-up tweet explaining what was in the picture when it was still up. It sounded like he personally edited it, but I don't know. Let's just say, give this guy the benefit of the doubt, which, knowing his history, I don't know if we should give him that, but let's, for the sake of argument, give him that benefit of the doubt, that he thought he was doing well. This, like, exposing this stuff, letting people know it exists. I mean, posting, owning, viewing this content, regardless of it being edited or your context for it, is actually illegal according to federal law, at least in the United States of America.
Yeah, there is no context for it. Like, I saw the responses from people saying that, like, well, what's the context? What happened here? It's like, what fucking context do you need? Right. It's already been identified. Like, Jesus.
But second of all, this should tell you exactly why this whole idea behind citizen journalists are going to, because this guy thinks he's doing an act of citizen journalism without knowing how to actually protect the people he's supposedly talking about. You don't post the child sex abuse material to save the children or to put a message out there to spread the word, because you are literally re-exploiting them by sharing that imagery again. And I'm giving him a real benefit of the doubt here, but I want to cover all bases and why this is ridiculous on every single level. No journalist who takes care to cover the story would have ever would have posted those images, period.
I think most normal people wouldn't have posted it, but I have to assume that he knew what he was doing. I mean, how could you not? He put his whole, watermark in the corner. And this whole, the reason why I was curious about why he, what the context was, because if he were to be like, hey, look at this is bad. I'm sorry, but that's a really thin justification for you posting it when you just wanted to post it. It's genuinely sickening. And I'm not going to make any allegations, but I'm suspicious of this person.
I could see that argument for a range of different topics, no matter how horrible, something someone says or something like that. This is the topic where that is quite obviously not where that's applicable. I mean, it's quite clear. I don't think it needs to be explained, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you see that he replied to you, Matt? He's like, damn, sounds like you look like a caveman or something. Yeah, that was his reply to your viral tweet.
That's how you know. That's how you know. You got a good argument when you're just going to do that. I mean, I don't even care. I'm not going to even. I've gone out. I have a new rule where I don't reply to anyone with a blue check on there because I don't want to give them a penny. Because that's what you're doing, by the way. If you view any blue check.
Yeah, he's one of the people who said that he actually got a payment. So I mean, how much of that money is coming from spreading conspiracy theories, QAnon conspiracies, or potentially child abuse photos? Is money being made from that? Are they profiting from this?
Right.
Yo, when does Rebecca come on? Because I have like a very wild take that I need to be like checked on by another black person. But like, that being said, I am willing to spit it to y'all. It's just that like I don't know what the reaction's gonna be.
She should be here relatively soon.
A little bit late.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what time though. You could just share it. We'll, you know,
give your opinion. This is me being a producer again. Like, David, give your opinion. Maybe we'll see if that stalls. But like, yeah.
Oh, I don't have an opinion. I'm just sick. I'm sickened by all of what's happening in terms of this idea of who the groomers are, and like again and again and again, these people expose themselves. Like it's just it's so very clear. And this whole story, I wasn't even aware. Like Twitter, I'm barely on now. Like I'll tweet out my video links and I'll post about video games, and that's about it. Like there's very little I'm engaging with. So I'm just finding all of this stuff to be just hard to engage in any of these conversations, because it's again and again, I'm just disgusted at what's going on.
Yeah, I also really want to plug Some More News video. They did I think it was like a 50 to hour minute long video about groomers and how, LGBTQ plus people are being labeled as groomers by the right, but they go into great detail to basically expose how the right, they are literally complicit in the grooming of children. When you look at the way that they cover up certain stories, they refuse to go after the Catholic Church, refuse to investigate people within their own. Just watch the video because it's very good. Like we've heard before, every accusation is a confession. That absolutely holds true.
Right. I mean, I had people, because I had I saw Elon Musk's reply explaining why this guy was reinstated, unsuspended. And I needed to share this because people weren't seeing it. People don't see replies as much as they do public, non-replied tweets. And my explaining what just occurred and went down got a lot of views, and a lot of this guy's followers were defending him in my mentions. And a lot of their excuse was either A, it was him exposing it, which again we've already discussed that, but then B, this was really bizarre, and a bunch of people were explaining this. It wasn't his stuff. He was just reposting other people's. These are the people who apparently are obsessed with stopping child trafficking and calling, like we said, calling other people pedophiles and saving the children and calling other people groomers. They are, whether they are genuine in those feelings or not, they are actively harming exactly what they claim to be trying to do in how they go about it. And it's been said time and time again by various anti-trafficking organizations that have been doing the work for a very long time and aren't part of just doing it so you get a political hit job out of it like these guys are obsessed with. And I should say that when this dumb guy is posting this stuff, 90% of the content he does is trying to subtly accuse a politician he doesn't like of being a pedophile or something. Like, he's not actually exposing anybody.
Right. Like I gotta. That's where I want to kind of jump in as a first point, but a preliminary is the word I was looking for. I knew it began with a P. Because like top level, we're in a really interesting time with journalism more broadly, right? Like it's pretty clear, like on the left or on the right, like, for the average, and you have to be very careful when you're talking about these things, because you can say Democrats and you can mean elected people, or you could mean, everyday voters who like slot D every time because that's how they vote, right? But like what I mean is by like regular everyday folks, either folks that we're on the internet with, that we interact with all the time, who are like a special community. Let's say, like, if you're on the internet all the time and you know who Dom Lecrae is, like, I love you, but we're a special group, all right? But versus like, the broader public. So lately I've tried to make sure that my politics and the way I speak about politics is oriented towards that broader public, and that knowledge that I have. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you and say like I'm from the streets, but like I grew up in a urban area. I still go in this area, unlike a lot of more prominent leftists that I happen to know, be that as it may, right? But like Dom Lecrae reminds me of the guy at either the liquor store, at the barbershop, who's like always trying to spit at you some like, you know, some conspiracy theory about like, hey, yo, guess what I read about the government? Like, hey, yo, you're not going to believe this. And you can't argue with him because he's just like not the kind of person who will like listen to logic. But, you know, you listen to him spit or whatever while you're getting your like grandma's cookies or your alcohol or you're getting your haircut or whatever, because that's just the banter, like that's just going on, all right? But like Dom Lecrae is not a serious person. If I had a conversation with Dom Lecrae, I would not be surprised, because I've had conversations with people like this, that he is not one of those black people who just gets a thrill off of like swindling white people on the internet. Like, you don't understand how many folks there are in the black community who will in real life or regular life be all like, oh, F this politics, I don't really care. But, you know, online, they perform like the NPC TikTokers. They perform knowing that by being the black face on white supremacy, or like, you know, being the black face on whatever is the Republican like flavor of the month or flavor of the day. Right now they have this like fake groomer scare, this groomer panic, because when you get outside the world of politics, everyone's like, oh yeah, I care about children. I want to make sure children are not being exploited and not being safe. And so he'll, to bring it back to Dom Lecrae, he'll do these posts, and it's kind of why I scanned him like a couple months ago, and I was like, F this guy. Like, I know exactly the kind of black game he's playing, is because like he's, and it's not like,
you're saying like he's like, not a true believer.
Absolutely not. Like, again, legalish. Like, I don't know this for a fact, but like, I just know this type of scammer within my community. And it's just like, oh, I'm going to start the week off by saying, hey, watch out. I'm going to throw out a name randomly, a Jake Tapper, or like, watch out Elizabeth Warren or whatever. You're on pedophile watch now. You're the next person who's going to be exposed. And these are just like, especially in like the content creation game, these are just words, right? Like we could title a video that's like, you know, Chevron is found to do offshore drilling they're not supposed to do, and it gets like -5 views. We do Chevron exposed for climate change or something like that. Just putting exposed there will get you a little bit off the top, right? So he knows the games, he knows the tricks that are required to get you attention and get more views. But because of the fact that we are in this space in media where there are no gatekeepers, people don't really have any sort of like, okay, why should I trust Fox News or why should I trust MSNBC, or why should I trust the New York Times any more than Dom Lecrae? Folks like that can jump in and give people the, okay, hey, trust me because I'm not, you know, mainstream media. I'm exposing who the pedophiles are or whatever. And I can make this sort of like media environment for myself so much that one of the richest, most respected, even though for complete bullshit reasons, one of the richest and most respected CEOs in the world is an Elon Musk, will now cater to my beck and call because I'm on this agenda that happens to be aligned with the same agenda that Elon Musk is trying to align to. Because getting back to that earlier conversation, sorry, I know I'm all over the place, like getting back to that earlier conversation of like, did Elon Musk mean to destroy Twitter purposely or not? No, Elon Musk did the same thing that Mark Zuckerberg did, which was fall for the head fake that Republicans were giving over the entire social media age, but especially since 2015, 2016, that social media, by definition, because their headquarters are in California and their executives and senior project managers are all liberal, has some inherent liberal bias. Never mind what the people consume on that site. Never mind what constantly goes viral as opposed to what gets suppressed. All of these rich people believe in this, you know, narrative that big tech equals woke, big tech equals liberal. And so seeing someone go against the grain of that, it's the exact same reason why like Candace Owens is popular, because yeah, she's going against the grain, but she looks like someone, I'm talking about black skin, that looks like they're not supposed to go against the grain. So for some reason you think you should trust them more because they're riding on that, oh, I can't be told by anyone, I can't be bossed by anyone. Meanwhile, this is just kayfabe. It's just lies. It's just spin. And so I've never been able to take Dom Lecrae seriously, just based off of that gut check that I'm trying to like kind of describe, that I think I can just see someone, especially when they're another black person, go, oh, you hustling. I respect the game, but like, you're also a piece of shit. And that's the exact face I got from Dom LeCrae like on day one. And so, yeah, I hadn't thought of him that much until now, because his bit is, oh, I'm gonna expose a pedophile. I'm gonna expose a pedophile. I don't have any information. I'm pretending to be a journalist, but I'm gonna expose a pedophile. It's a really sad game and a reflection of where we are at right now in media that thankfully we're fighting against.
I was going to say, though, I think that regardless if he is serious or the whole thing is just a grift to make money, one of the really scary precedents that this whole like scenario has started is that the actual owner of the website has made an exception to personally intervene and then reinstate an account after someone has directly broken the rules of posting child porn, and then admitting to the fact that that actually happened, then being like, okay, well, now the child porn has been deleted, but the account is back. You know, that like that's pretty massive when you think like, this is supposed to be what the world's second richest human, you know, titan of industry, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is still a pretty horrifying event.
And he supposedly bought the platform off of, again, buying into this false narrative from the right wing that Twitter is an inherently leftist, you know, tilting their finger on the scales towards leftist discourse and conversation and promoting those ideas, when the so-called Twitter files that were exposed show that there was, as like Matt Bender brilliantly reported on as well, and a number of others did, there was a lot of internal strife within Twitter about how to handle situations that turn into these like right-wing like buzz points, like the Hunter Biden stuff, right? But it's because Elon Musk has accepted this right-wing framing of, oh, everything, even the stuff you hate, even the stuff you find morally despicable, even though we have proof that the proliferation of these things online without any sort of context or, you know, like flag, community notes be damned. But knowing that the proliferation of the stuff online leads people to just believe these things, even though those of us with a little bit of education know they're wrong, Elon Musk goes, oh no, we have to let that go through, because what if the Nazis have a point? Like, what if the people who are slandering folks about pedophilia, what if they have a point one day? What if a broken clock is right twice a day? Like, that's his application towards free speech, which is fine in like some context, but when you're trying to run a platform based off of advertiser revenue and subscriber growth, people have to inherently like being on that website. And if they have to worry about oh, Lance of the Serfs is about to be exposed by Tom LeCrae, then like no one's gonna go on that site.